Hey folks, how's it going? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at the latest Venom Hasbro Marvel Legends retro carded action figure, and I'm super stoked for this one. I think it looks like maybe the best comic Venom Marvel Legends figure out there, and I'm sure that's not the first time I've said this on the channel, but when this one was first revealed I thought it looked great, particularly because it looks like the perfect upgrade to my favourite Venom Marvel Legends figures from the past. This looks like a perfect upgrade to these molds here, and so I definitely want to check this guy out here on the page, do some head swaps, some comparisons, see how he compares to the other Spidey figures, other figures from the retro carded wave. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. Let me know down in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts are on this latest released Venom. And while you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, then please hit that subscribe button. And let's just jump right into the video here. We have this classic retro card that we have seen time and time again at this point. Nothing different apart from the character images. Of course, we get this awesome look of Venom, looking very much inspired from the Spider-Man animated series here on the left. Of course, there was an exclusive Venom figure on a retro card released before, with the red and blue lining around the figure. It looked like a cool figure, but I didn't really feel the need to pick it up at the time, and I'm glad I held off to get this one here. We have the Celebrating Marvel 85 years sticker on the front as well, and of course the display of the figure on the back. Same character image, we get this product image here showing you can swap the interchangeable parts over. We get a bit of a write-up for Venom here, so hit the pause button if you want to read that now. And let's not wait any longer, let's get this guy out of the box. So first off, taking a closer look at the interchangeable parts that we get with our new Venom, we get these clobbering time interchangeable hands, and overall they are sculpted really nicely. You can see that there is some slight detail kind of running throughout that definitely adds to the symbiote effect. It looks like some sort of veins on the back of the hands here, and overall, you know, they're good fisted hands. I will say, maybe a wee bit nitpicky, but the whites on the back of the hands, I feel like I'm used to the white taking up more of a surface area. These seem quite small compared to usual, bringing in again that kind of last favourite Venom sculpt of mine to check out the back of the hands there. You can see we have the black dot included, and it is just a bigger area of white, so maybe that is why I'm expecting a larger area of white on these new ones, but I don't know what I prefer. These ones are fine, I just think it is noticeable how small those white squares are, something worth pointing out. And then we've got the alternative head as well, and this thing is awesome looking. I love the sculpt of this. It looks great. We can see the teeth there. The whites in the eyes are really nice. I like the sculpted detail between the eyes. It's just a great expression for Venom. Very reminiscent of the comics. I think it looks just like a great standard Venom head sculpt. And again, for a quick comparison here, bringing in one of those previously released Venoms from Marvel Legends, it does immediately look a lot bigger, this newer head sculpt, so I don't know how a head swap would work. I love this McFarlane-esque head sculpt here that was released previously. We can see we have a slightly different expression in the mouth there, where you can see sort of in between the teeth. I love the teeth of this one. They are different, these two, but I really like them both. I hope the head swap works pretty well here. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, great alternative head for Venom here. And with that being the end of the interchangeable parts, checking out the head sculpt that is on the figure right now, that is sick. I think this was a Venom head sculpt that was included in Amazon 3-pack. Again, I missed out on that Venom. It had the awesome Eddie Brock sort of mid-symbiote takeover head. I do wish I had that head sculpt, but it wasn't enough for me to pick that Venom 3-pack up. And again, it kind of benefits by holding off and being able to pick up this retro carded figure here and getting this head sculpt in the end anyway. Something we've seen time and time again from Hasbro, because of course there was like the Peter Parker VHS release with that Peter Parker figure. I didn't pick that up, and now they've done a Spider-Man 2-pack with Vulture, including that Peter Parker alternative head. So with Hasbro Marvel Legends, it's to be expected that there's a lot of re-release and repaints and mixing and matching of previously released figures, and I think this head sculpt is another great Venom head sculpt to be included with this figure. The tongue is super long, actually going crazy, and some really nice detailing on that tongue there in the sculpt. You can see it does leave a good effect here. And then you've got those gnarly teeth, the eyes again really nicely sculpted in that front of the face, and yeah, nothing really much in the back of the head here. The body itself, of course, is a lot of black with that logo painted on the front, but what is really nice about this sculpt is it is very reminiscent of the retro Spider-Man figure. I think this is going to work really well with Venom. I've not had the chance to pose this around yet, and I'm actually leaving for holiday pretty damn soon, so I don't even think I'm going to have enough time to pose this guy around before I leave, but it looks like it is going to be a lot of fun here, and I think this mold looks great for a newer Marvel Legends Venom. The logo looks really nice here, and it does go right round to the back. He has these butterfly joints where the logo is painted on there as well. And what I also really like is this sculpt in the arm. Again, this sort of symbiote vein effect going around the figure, and it does go onto the hand as well. And I think that is just a nice wee touch. Wee details like that from Marvel Legends do make the figures feel a lot better, and a lot of the time I think it justifies the price point. This was £22 to £23, and so far I'm really happy to pay that for this quality of Venom here. And it's those sculpted wee details that I think it pays off. It pays off when you're paying that price point. I'm a bit disappointed that the figure isn't pinless. I wasn't sure if it was going to be pinless or not. I sort of expected it to be pinless, but no, we've got pins there, and I do feel like that dates the figure pretty instantly. You know, Marvel Legends are going to release a figure very similar to this that won't have the pins probably pretty soon, so yeah, I think overall it looks the part. I would have maybe liked some toe articulation with, again, a newer Marvel Legends Venom to make it a bit different from previous releases, but you know, that's fine for the most part. We get this sort of claw, more grabby hands ported into the figure at this stage as well, sort of nails coming out, and that's pretty gnarly. I do like the look of that. Overall, this thing looks great. In terms of the articulation and talking about it relating to the retro carded Spider-Man, I showed off you do get butterfly joints here, upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which again aren't pinless, but there we go. Move the wrist backwards and forwards and it will rotate round as well. Not too much movement with that double jointed elbow, I must say, but definitely better than a single joint. With the new sort of articulation in our torso area, you can get him moving left and right just under the chest, and he will crunch right forward. I think that is really good for our Venom figure, and we do get it moving about that far back the way as well. So I do think this updated Venom mold is worth it when it comes to posing this guy around. Something that I have seen a lot of on Instagram and have noticed myself is the head sculpt really doesn't move up the way. That's as far back as the head sculpt is going to move, and that is definitely going to interfere when you're trying to get this thing into some dynamic poses. But it looks cool. I've seen a lot of folk modding it, and I'll probably have to go down the same route. A lot of the time I do pop the head sculpts off and sort of blue tack it. I think that would work. I think that would work for the most part here, so we'll need to see how it kind of relates when I'm posing this guy around for Instagram. In the leg area, is it drop down hips? I can't really tell. I don't think we're getting drop down hips here, and in fact this leg was a bit gummy to start off with, but it does seem to have relaxed a bit. We get this upper thigh cut, get the leg moving about that far out the way. Double jointed knees, again not pinless, and I will say is a bit soft. The plastic in the leg area could be a bit more premium in my eyes. I do think it's a bit gummy, but yeah, double jointed knees. You can get the foot moving backwards and forwards, and it will swivel around as well. So to compare the new Marvel Legends Venom retro carded comic figure, here is my previous favourite comic Venom Marvel Legends figure, and for the time and even now I think this is a great adaptation for a comic Venom. He was a bigger, bulkier sculpt at the time, especially when you compare it to the Spideys of the time, the likes of the Pizza Spidey, a much more skinny, slender Spider-Man. This guy certainly looked like he was gonna destroy that Spider-Man, but with time going on and the more kind of retro carded Spider-Man mode being the best Spider-Man Marvel Legends for these times, I think it's good to see that they have went for an even bigger, bulkier Venom at this stage, while still kind of capturing the same sort of proportions as the previous one here. We can see the head sculpts are pretty similar. I do wish we got the same sort of green oozing paint on this mouth, because the look of this one is just awesome. And again, we can swap the heads after some comparisons here. So for me, this does look like the perfect upgrade to my previous favourite, making this one my new favourite. The articulation is definitely a lot more smooth and updated, and overall I think the similarities here are great and the upgrades are even better. To bring in a couple of popular Marvel Legends Spideys, we've got the retro carded Spidey on the left and then Renew Your Vows Spider-Man here on the right. Both have had their head swaps. These are kind of my favourite look to these standard Spidey figures, but comparing them to our new Marvel Legends Venom, I think these guys scale perfectly. I love the height difference between these guys. He is just slightly smaller. He's not a huge height difference, but definitely enough that it's noticeable. And I think the difference in proportions as well, Venom being a lot more muscular and bulky compared to these guys, makes for a perfect side by side between hero and villain. I do, however, prefer overall the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spidey mold. I do think it resembles a slightly younger Peter Parker, or perhaps just a less muscular Peter Parker. He is slightly smaller when it comes to the proportions, the muscle definition, and I think that makes it even better when you compare him to our new Venom here, because then again, Venom is that bit bigger, not only in height, but just the proportions here, and these guys are going to have a tough fight against our new Venom. And then to compare our newer, bigger, retro carded Venom, comic Venom Marvel Legends here to an even bigger Marvel Legends Venom figure, we've got the movie Venom here, which of course shares the same sculpt as the null 2-pack Venom. That would have probably been a better figure to compare here in terms of sculpt for sculpt, with them both being comic Venoms, but I cannot find him. I think he is right at the bottom of my figure drawer. And so movie Venom will do. The exact same sculpt, of course this is capturing the look from the movie, and even though I would say like mold for mold, the muscular sort of proportions are quite similar, this Venom is certainly a lot taller. He has the kind of long arms, the long legs. I personally do prefer this newer retro carded sculpt. I don't regret having this Venom or the null 2-pack Venom. It is certainly a look for Venom that I like, but just preference wise, I think this is a great standard Venom figure. I think this mold works really well for the character. And lastly, to compare our new Venom next to some other Marvel Legends Spidey villains, these are all retro carded releases apart from Chameleon here. He was released quite a bit before the retro carded villains started coming out, but I wanted to include Tombstone here on the right, as he was again a bigger Spidey villain, a much taller Marvel Legends, and we can see that Venom is even bigger than Tombstone. We've got some more kind of standard 6-inch figures, the likes of Chameleon and Shocker, and Sandman is just a bit taller than both of those guys as well, with Venom being taller than them all, being a lot more muscular and bigger than them all. Again, I think this guy scales perfectly. And so for the first head swap out of the two using my favourite Venom comic Marvel Legends head sculpts, it sort of works. I don't want to say it doesn't work. I mean, it is small. It's smaller compared to the two head sculpts that we have been given with this figure. Of course, the body mold that these head sculpts come with are a lot smaller. but you can make this work, I think, with your toy photography, manipulating some angles and things. It definitely could be a lot worse. I wouldn't say that this doesn't work, but it is definitely on the small side. With this one being around the exact same size as the last one, pretty much the exact same comments, it looks actually pretty good. I do like this, but I do think when you have these head sculpts, it is noticeable that they are just a bit on the small side. But hey, again, it could be a lot worse. I'm kind of happy with these. And so there we have it for our new Marvel Legends retro carded comic Venom figure. And for me, this is definitely my favourite comic Venom. I don't have like the Mafex comic Venom. I don't think there's really any other companies giving us comic Venom figures. But I don't really feel like I need any others now that I've got this guy. I've got so many Venom Marvel Legends figures at this point. But now having this one, I do feel like this is the almost perfect comic Venom. And I say almost, we do still have the pins, and there is that sort of lack of movement in the back of the head. With our previous releases here, we can see that we have that. Is this a dumbbell joint? I can never really remember the specific names, but we get a lot of movement in that head area. You are going to need to mod this a wee bit to get the same sort of range of movement in that head area, but we'll see how it pans out when it comes to posing this guy. If you do want to check out any of my pictures of this figure, I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below. It'd mean a lot if you hop on over to the Instagram page and check it out. But yeah, this is, for me, pretty damn good for that £22 to £23 price point. It can't really get much better than this, especially just with the slight sculpted detail popping out of that sculpt. I think comparing this guy to other Marvel Legends figures, he scales perfectly. For me, this is it, and this is as good as it's going to get for a while. I can chill on the comic Venom figures. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the description below, down in the comment section below I should say. While you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button. Again, I'll leave my Instagram in the description below. Feel free to hop on over to the channel page, check out any of my other videos. There's probably a few Venom videos up on there now. It'd mean a lot if you could check it out. And until next time guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch yous on the flip flop later. Cheers.